Hey, and welcome back to another reaction video. It is August D weekend with Minyoongi, aka SUGA, dropping his first official solo album. I mean, I say official because it's actually getting a physical copy as opposed to his previous mixtapes were just like digital. But anyways, it is D-Day. Gonna take a look at the official music video for Haegeum, which is the title track. I know we already heard People Part 2 with IU, but that was like a pre-release kind of drop. So Haegeum is going to be the title track. It is, from what he was explaining when he was on IU's Paulette, was that he wrote this at the same time he wrote Dechita. So it's going to have like kind of similar vibe to it, I'm thinking. I haven't seen it. I've tried to stay off of Twitter socials to avoid spoilers, but of course you can't help but catch some stuff. But anyways, Haegeum, from what I recall that he explained, it has two different meanings. It's also like a musical instrument, very similar to how in Dechita was like traditional Korean music. Haegeum is like a musical instrument. I believe it's like a string instrument that they use, traditional Korean instrument, but it could also mean like I believe it was like the end of something or like finishing something. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't recall off the top of my head. But we're gonna take a look at the music video so I can avoid being spoiled on it. And afterwards, I haven't listened to the album yet, so after this I'm gonna do a separate video doing a first listen to the whole album. I haven't seen any translations or anything because I want to get like the first fresh, authentic first listen experience without having any like preconceived thoughts going into it. So obviously you guys might already know some stuff from when I'm watching it. Just keep in mind that I haven't watched it. I haven't seen anything, any theories, any videos, any Easter eggs or anything. So that's why if I don't catch something and you already know it's because you've already seen it and you've already been on socials and discovered all the theories. So just bear that in mind. But anyways, without further ado, I'm about to get my mind blown, I'm sure, because it's poet Minyoongi genius. Let's just go. Haegeum official music video. Big hit music. Make sure I don't want Korean subtitles. Minyoongi is back in the market, like for Dechita, but now it's like modern day, and I believe that's Agust D from the end of Dechita. And again with the characters. Ninjas? Robbers? Are they gonna rob somebody?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did he kill him? Oh, another Yoongi. It's like boss Yoongi. Interpretation is free for all. And the scar. It's like a mob boss. And this Yoongi. Is he smoking? Yoongi. Freeing was forbidden from self-indulgence. Ah. A little smirk. Ignoring the Haegeum. He's crazy. He's a little cuckoo. Oh my god, he's a little psychotic. Selective capitalism saves to money, saves data and prejudice. Oh. Don't get so different. Oh. He's licking up. Oh. Yoongi versus Yoongi. Well, but he doesn't have a scar. Another one has a scar. So confused. He burned his money and he's drowning him. What in the world? Where did he get the gun from? Yugi's just killing people left and right. I'm so confused. Okay. What? Oh my gosh. He did not. He did not. He did not pull a Joker. And the cops just let him go with his jacket back to the market. Isn't that where he started? Is he gonna get his nails done? Oh no, he's sorry, he's eating. Wait, that's where it started. He's gonna get his noodles on. Oh my gosh, that look. I have no idea what is happening. It's very similar vibe to Dechita. I can see what he said that. Even the music video, obviously, in Dechita it was kind of like an old times, because even you had the traditional hanboks, the ropes and like the sword and stuff, and this is kind of like modern day, but the same thing. You have like the peasant or like the underdog that's going against the mob boss, who also had the scar. But I'm confused because in Dechita, which is like literally there's a screenshot of that right now. In Dechita, like the underdog killed the king, right? And he became the boss. He said, I'm the king, I'm the boss. But now that boss, it's almost like I'm so confused. It's like Agust D killed the king, and he said, I'm the king, I'm the boss. He became the boss, the mafia boss. But he was so corrupt that now SUGA had to come and kill him. Because remember, if you guys remember, sorry, I have like a runny nose. If you remember, when Yoongi was explaining the D-Day, the album, to IU, he was saying how it might be like, this might be the last time we hear of Agust D, because he doesn't need that persona anymore. He doesn't need that persona that he created to come and like defend him and like fight off the haters, because now he's comfortable in who he is, where he is, his position. He's at the top of the top. So like he doesn't have anything else left to prove. I'm stuttering. So I almost feel like, even though he looks a little demented, a little Jokerish, I feel like that's SUGA putting an end to Agust D, because he's like, okay, you went a little power hungry, you need to stop, you need to end it. But we're gonna go back and look at the lyrics, because the lyrics always, you know, Yoongi, not just Yoongi, like any BTS song, especially like the rap line, they're always sending messages, indirect or direct messages, you know, if the shoe fits, to people, you know. If you feel offended by something, then maybe it's because it applies to you. But we're gonna go back and try to dissect what's happening. It was just so much going on. So here's SUGA with his gang of thugs. They're going to that noodle place. there's 7 of them. Bruh. You know they don't do anything by accident. I just realized. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 of them. So Yoongi and his bros, they come to mess you up. Like, he took the chopsticks. He went upstairs because chopsticks can be a weapon of mass destruction. And I'm guessing that's like one of the. I'm guessing this is like, you know how when you in boss crime movies, I don't know what you would call it, you always have like the mob boss has their secret office or like where his minions gather, which is always like in some type of like a restaurant, like in some back office or upstairs office. This is exactly that. With the CCTVs and his Suga's getting all violent, bro! Yeah! He's like calling the guy. See, so the other guy, like the I guess the worker bee or his minion, is calling the main boss, which is like, here's Agust D. He's getting the call from like one of his people saying like, hey, this crazy guy just came in and is killing everybody. But what the nonsense? Is he okay, did he just walk out? Freedom of expression. Did he just walk out of a police office? He did. Is he a... So this guy, this bro, he's a detective, but he's corrupt because he's taking back deals from like the criminals. That's why the criminals were calling him like, hey, this guy's over here like messing us up, and he's going, oh my gosh, you dirty cop. Interpretation is free for all. Freedom of expression could be the reason for somebody's death. And that is so true. Like, if you think about it in society, no matter where you are, like depending on your laws, but like obviously like it could be something that could be taken advantage of, or it could be something that could be deprived, and you could be persecuted for your freedom of expression, expressing your opinions or your thoughts on how some things are being done by like the government or by people. Could you still consider that freedom? So that's crazy, because it's true. Like, people could be expressing themselves, and we've seen it especially here in the States, you know, like that's the First Amendment right, freedom of expression, but people get attacked for that when they're doing like marches or when they're doing like protests, or even like in school, like now, like recently, especially with like all those books getting banned. It's like freedom of expression. It's really, if you're trying to express your freedom and your right, sometimes you're persecuted because of that. So are you really free if you're being persecuted? Liberation from all... Oh my gosh, why are they throwing such crazy lines? If your convictions are reflected in your judgment and speculations, and you believe that your freedom is on the same level as others, then don't hesitate, just get on board. Like, everybody should have the same freedoms. Like, if you think you have the freedom to do something, the person next to you should have the same freedom. You shouldn't be telling them that they're not allowed to do a certain thing, or to be a certain thing, or to say a certain thing. Kind of almost like saying, like, if you want your freedom to be respected, respect that of others. And also, why is he smoking? Bruh. Oh my gosh. Liberation from all that's forbidden. For all of those living in these unfortunate times who don't even understand their own tastes. This song is about what's free and what's forbidden, but you must remember to differentiate freedoms from self-indulgence. Bro, and it's it's really interesting how they chose this lyric right when he's smoking, because it's like that's one of those things that people criticize. Obviously, if you're a smoker, you're a smoker. If you're not a smoker, you're not a smoker. You know, like everybody is entitled to their own lifestyles. But it's interesting how he says you must differentiate freedom from self-indulgence. Like sometimes people hide the fact that they want to do certain things, saying like, oh, it's my right, it's my freedom. But are you saying it really because you're just being selfish and you just want to do what you want to do without any regard to other people? Which could be, you know, like behaviors that could be dangerous to others. Just because you're saying like, it's my right, I can do what I want. Like, let's say, driving under the influence. Like, you know, like if you want to party too much, and I'm just thinking that I'm, you know, trying to make sense of things. Like if you have vices that you know are obviously dangerous to you, that's your own prerogative. But if it verges on the point where you could affect other people, are you really trying to fight for your freedom? Or are you just being self-indulgent because you don't care how that affects other people, but you're just trying to say like, it's my right to do this, even though it affects others. That's what he's talking about, self-indulgence. The Popo showed up. He's running with the money. He's just like a little crazy right there. Endless influx of information prohibits freedom of imagination and seeks conformity in thought. And that's sorry, the word I paused it. Okay, what is this? What's happening on November 23rd? Or 11th, sorry. What's happening November 2nd of this year? What is happening? Is that when he's enlisting? What is happening on that date? But also, like his little goofy smile. But also, the lyrics. This is so true. Endless influx of information prohibits freedom of imagination. Like sometimes we're so overwhelmed or oversensitized, or like there's so much online. You can Google basically anything, but it's like then it stuns your imagination because you're just so used to everything being fed to you, like hand fed to you, that you don't even like use your brain to think anymore. You just like look everything on up. And what is this? What is that? And you don't, it's like you stop thinking for yourself. And then it talks about conformity of thought, because if we're all reading the same things online, we're all saying, oh yeah, that must be true. That must be what really it is. You know, even if you're looking for information, it's like, oh, well, the internet says this, so it must be true. That's why they say it. Don't believe everything is on the internet. But basically, Jungi's just telling us like to think for ourselves for once. Don't be a sheep. Jungi with his little gummy smile. His bag of tangerines or mandarins. What is it that he's always eating? But they're there. They're there. What is restricting us? Maybe we do it to ourselves. Like, dude, he's going crazy. I don't even understand what's happening. Slaves to capitalism. Slaves to, wait. That's what. Slaves to capitalism, slaves to money. Slaves to hatred and prejudice. Slaves to YouTube, slaves to flexing. Bruh, he's just like calling people left and right. Like, there's like so much to unpack here. Because it's true, like, slaves to capitalism and slaves to money, like, people are always just like working to spend on, like, to have the it thing. Like, this is what's popular now, so I have to have that. This is just brand new thing just came out, I have to have that, so I have to work and I have to show off that I have this new thing. I have to flex it. Slaves to YouTube. I'm sorry, but how are we gonna get you to chart if we don't stream? But it's also the same thing. Like, I think a lot of us, I'm like obviously not like a big creator or whatever, but I feel like sometimes it can get to a point, like those of us that do like reaction videos, or like people that do unboxing videos, or like mukbangs, or whatever, any content on YouTube, it can get to a point where, like, if you became a slave to it, because you're not doing it because it's fun for you anymore, you're doing it because, like, I have to get these many views, I have to get like more views, I have to get more followers, I have to get more likes, I have to get more comments. Like, what are people gonna say if I don't post this, or if I don't post that? And that's why it's talking about it's you're being a slave to something. Selfishness and greed have gone off the rails. Facts, bro. Opinions clearly split depending on what's to gain. Yeah, because whenever there's like a topic of like something that's happening in society and the world and the news, a lot of people just think like, I'm not going to say anything, or I will comment once I know like what side has more supporters, because I want to be on the right side of things, or I want to be on the winning side of things. But then in that case, you don't really have an opinion. You're just going with the flow because you don't want to be disliked. Everybody's been blinded by envy and jealousy. So true. Without realizing that they're putting shackles on each other. So true. I mean, because whether we like it or not, sometimes, like, especially like with social media, if you notice, especially with social media, like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, there is always like this wave of like cancel culture, canceling somebody. If somebody's super popular now and they make one mistake, or one person decides this creator made a mistake, or this person made a mistake, and everybody just jumps on the bandwagon without doing the research. So it's almost like that's where I see it, like envy and jealousy. That you put shackles on each other because you're just so tied down to just seeing the negative in everything and being like the first to be on the hate train, that you don't think for yourself, and you don't like have your own thoughts and your own imagination and like make your own opinions. And yeah, you don't think for yourself. You just go in like with mob mentality. That's how I'm interpreting it. Obviously everybody else can interpret stuff differently. Yugi, he's like just taking a bath in his money, all the money that he took from the boss, and the boss is not happy because he's like, yo, that's my money, what you doing with it? Yugi versus SUGA versus Agust D. We all differentiate freedom from self-indulgence. His little... Oh, I love the way he does his little his facial expressions, like his attitude. Oh, his skin is so soft. He takes his... He's burning your money, bro! Oh, he's mad. Why does he have a bell? Is he a cat? Ignoring the Haegeum. And if you notice, it's the same scene. Like, obviously the directors are the same, but it's like kind of like a throwback to Dechita, That scene where he's like, where Agust D was standing in the middle of the barrels when he goes to that breaks down into that flow. It's like similar scenery, but this time he's like the bad guy. The guy that used to be the good guy in Dechita that killed the king. Now he's the bad guy because he let it go to his head. Oh, you did, man. Sorry. I'm obsessed with Yoongi's facial expressions. Right there, he's like, like, dude, he looks like the Joker, like Heath Ledger in the Joker. It's not, the scar is insane. The makeup department. But also, I thought guns didn't work after they were underwater. His little tongue sticking out. And as always, the underdog is always gonna be supported by the minority because, you know, what happens when like somebody that sets out to start doing something good and then they get corrupted, they turn on the people that they used to be defending. And now obviously those people that are in the minority look for a new leader to come and like save them, which is basically what SUGA did. SUGA just got rid of Agust D because Agust D went cray cray. He are power hungry. Bro, this scene right here, like straight out of the Joker. Did he get arrested? No, he didn't get arrested. He's getting escorted to the noodle place to eat some noodles, and he took the jacket. Now he's the boss. Because now the police are protecting him, just like before the police were protecting the detective. He was a dirty cop. And even though he killed the dirty cop, the police were like okay with it because he ended the corruption. Or maybe now he's the one that's taking... Or was he also police officer under this undercover? I don't know. I don't understand what's happening in the Bangtan world. I don't know what happens in Yoongi's head. But he has the jacket that used to belong to... I'm calling him Agust D because he had the scar. Just like in Dechita. But yeah, he just dropped him off at the noodle place, which was his lair. His like offices or his people would like hang out upstairs. Now he's there, he's gonna eat his noodles. And what's in his... Dude, his veins. Ah! Don't look at me like that, Min Yoongi. Like that. That face. You look like you're such a handsome criminal or undercover cop or whatever you are. But yeah, that was Haegeum. I don't even know. There was like there was just so much going on with the storyline and the video with like... I'm gonna keep saying that the guy with the scar was Agust D because that's what in Dechita the guy with the scar was the good guy, but I guess he became the bad guy now and he was like a dirty cop. And now I'm gonna call this guy SUGA because he doesn't have a scar on his face because he's fully healed from all his scars. When he was like starting in the industry, he's like established himself now. He doesn't let the scars define him anymore. He's like fighting injustice and getting rid of the bad guys, dirty cops like the other guy. But also the lyrics is always, you know, they're very intentional with the lyrics, talking about like basically what I got from this song. I haven't read what his explanation was of it. I haven't watched the documentary he wrote to D-Day, but what I got from it was that think for yourselves. Don't be sheep. Don't get overwhelmed like by this mass influx of information online. Don't be a slave to like anything, you know, have your own thoughts. Yes, fight for your freedoms, but at the same time, really think about it. Is it my freedom that I'm fighting for, or is it something that it's only going to benefit me? It's not going to benefit other people. Am I like really fighting for something that's equality for everybody? or is it just self-indulgence? And also, don't be a slave to consumerism, don't be a slave to capitalism, to money, to YouTube, to anything. Don't be a slave to anything. You know, be your own person and think for yourself, have your own opinions, but also check yourself that your opinions and what you think is right is not infringing on other people's rights. And just this comment, obviously, because I know we always joke around, and he's always talked about like he's anti-capitalism, and right now he's criticizing capitalism, and he's like one of the biggest artists in the world and is making a ton of money. But you know what? He didn't get that for free. He worked for that money that he has now, and they did things their way. Yes, they're part of a company that obviously us as fans we complain about like how much stuff costs and stuff. But them as artists, they write their own music. They produce their own music. They have input on like the image that they put out. They came from nothing to being like at the top of their game, at the top of like the music, like one of the biggest earning artists. And that didn't come to them for free. They had to work for it. They had literally nothing. It was their last shot. The company was almost bankrupt. They had a lot of struggles. They had a lot of people blocking them left and right, and they still persevered. And now that's why they have all this money. So even though he says like don't be a slave to capitalism, it's still true to who he is, because he released 2 full mixtapes and gave them to us for free. This is the first time he releases an album where he's gonna get money out of it. What it's gonna be, he's gonna get royalties out of it from his writing, from his producing. So yes, as an artist, he should be making money off of it, you know. And us as fans, we're not forced to buy anything physical. We can always just stream, but that's how we show our support, by buying stuff and appreciating, because they're artists. This is their work. This is their livelihood. So yeah, he's criticizing being a slave to capitalism, even though now he's one of the top earners, but he's earned it. He worked for it and he's earned it, and he has a right to still criticize the machine that he has no choice but to be part of. He still has the right to criticize how everything works and things like that. And they are still being true to themselves, because they are still not doing payola. They're not giving back end deals to get their music played on the radio, especially here in the States. Like they're famous in Korea and they get the music played. Not all of it because of censorship as well. But here in the States and in other parts of the world, their music does not get radio play. So why? Because they're not playing dirty. They're not giving backhanded deals. They're not exchanging secret handshakes. They're not doing payola to get the radio to play their music. So they're still staying true to who they are and trying to do things the right way. So all the money they've made, they might be the richest of the rich, but they made it the right way. You cannot say that they paid anybody off to get to where they are. Anyways, that was just I just went off on a rant. Sorry about that. But that was Haegeum, Agust D, official music video. I'm still processing it. I'm gonna have to look up everything. I love Yoongi stealing his mandarins, whatever they were, with his little goofy smile. There was just so much going on. There was just so much going on. But anyways, what did you guys think of the video? Did I miss some stuff, Easter eggs what is happening in November 2nd? I think I have more questions than answers after this video. But anyways, that was Haegeum, Agust D from D-Day. Obviously, let's stream the album. Let's buy the album, physical copies, Target, Walmart, Weverse Shop, Weverse US for Billboard, Global for the Korean charts. You can always stream on Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, so many options. Yeah, that was Agust D. I'll see you next time.